Hi everyone, welcome back to Over the Wire. We at Black Bat Terminal will be walking through level 7 for today's episode. We will still be using the find command for this level, but exploring new primaries. This time, we are given two new requirements we haven't seen before. Filtering files based on their owner, which is a specific user, and their group. So let's quickly write down all of our requirements. For this level, we will still be using the find command, but which primaries do we need to use? Just a quick recap. If you forgot what a primary is, think of them like a condition or filter you use to help specify what you want the find command to search for. These are some of the primaries we used so far in previous levels. And this is an example of how to use the find command that searches for a file size of 1033 bytes. Now, back to our level. Based on our requirements, we need to satisfy these three conditions. Luckily, our conditions have very easy syntax. Once we add a hyphen, these are the three primaries that we will be using. As an example, when we specify the name of the user, just use a space between the primary and the argument. You don't need to use any quotation marks. The C represents the unit for file size. While it stands for character, it refers to bytes, since a character typically occupies 1 byte of data. Now that we have identified the primaries, you should be able to identify which to use to satisfy our three conditions. Before you try level 7 on your own, try to modify this find command by replacing and adding the necessary primaries to search for the file which contains the password to the next level. The level also states that the file is stored somewhere on the server and no longer a directory like the previous levels. To specify where to start the search, provide its path right after the find command. By adding the slash, it represents starting the search from our root directory. That is all the hints I'm going to give you for this level. Before I show you the solutions, feel free to pause the video if you want to give the level a shot yourself first. Welcome back everyone. I'll now go over the solutions for level 7. I always like to start with ls just to see what we're working with. As you can see, we aren't given any directories like the previous levels, as we were told the file is stored somewhere on the server. To search for all files on the server, I specified the find command to start from the root directory by using the /, which shows us an output of all files stored on the server. We can now add the primaries or conditions to our find command to satisfy the three properties of the file we are searching for. First, we know the user is called Bandit7. Secondly, it belongs to a group called Bandit6. And lastly, its file size is of 33 bytes. This massive output we just got shows us a lot of directories the find command is trying to search through and have failed as they are restricted to higher privileged users. Although if you look through the whole list carefully, you will be able to find the file, but we can remove these error messages to make our lives a lot easier. This command redirects the standard error stream to dev-null, which is a special file in Linux that discards anything written to it. So in our case, the error messages would all be discarded. If you're wondering what standard streams are, or where the two comes from, let me quickly explain this to you. Standard streams refer to the way data flows in and out when a command is used. In total, there are 3 types of standard streams. The first type are standard inputs. This is the input a command receives, usually from the keyboard or a file. For example, when you type text into a program to provide a file as their input. The second stream is standard outputs. This is the normal result a command produces after execution. For example, when you run ls, the list of files is displayed as the standard output. Lastly, standard errors. This is where error messages go if something goes wrong during execution. Like in our case, we were denied access to directories that require higher privilege. And how each of these standard streams are represented are through numbers. 0 stands for standard input, 1 stands for standard output, and 2 stands for standard errors. Therefore, this 2 represents standard error, and we use the greater than sign, which is used for redirection, sending errors to dev-null which discards them. So let's try the command out, allowing us to clearly see which file has the conditions we specified. Now, as our last step, use the cat command on the file to review the password to the next level. And that's it for level 7. Well done for completing it. Remember to save this password so you can access the next level. As always, I'll be playing a recap of the things we learned today. While it plays, remember to leave a like and subscribe if you managed to learn a thing or two. Drop a comment if you also like me to improve certain aspects of the video. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode. And remember, a level a day gets you a job someday.